Oh, oops, my bad. Thank you, Ms. Bennett. So to be socially distanced throughout the building and to be here only during your assigned time. So if it's not your letter day, but you wanted to meet up with somebody from the school at lunch hour, you cannot do it inside the building. You can't come in and visit in the building. You can only be here on your day. So, and the reason for that is mainly for contact tracing and really to help me out because when we have to do contact tracing, I have to go on a video and see where people went and who they spoke to. So when everybody follows the process and the protocols in place, that makes things a lot easier. Okay, another reminder that you are to be in class during your assigned time, and on your at-home learning day, it is not a day off. So when you are at home on your remote days, then you need to be tuning into Teams so that you can have your attendance taken and find out what is going on in class. And if you have been absent or missed a class for whatever reason, remember to check Teams because Teams, the teachers are posting things on Teams about the notes, the handouts, and so that's the quickest way to get the information that you need if you've missed a class. In terms of credits, and I'm hoping that we're on track here, but sometimes people need to go to summer school to earn a credit that they didn't earlier. But it is important to know that you have to have finished the course at least once, and you need to have finished it with at least a 30%. If it's a course that you've never taken before, then you won't be allowed to take it in summer school. You have to have taken it and finished it with at least a 30. And I know last year summer school was free, but this year I believe it's back to being like it's about $200 or $220 to retake a course. And then the usual general reminders that as the weather gets warmer and more people are riding their bikes to school, to make sure that you have a U-lock. We have had some problems in the past with the cable locks being cut, so make sure you have a U-lock. Cell phones should only be used with teachers' permission. So, and that is typically for instructional purposes, but to stay off your phones unless the teacher says otherwise. Dress code, I always get to talk about dress code. So of course, no hats. There's to be no hats in the hallways or in classrooms. No shirts that are too low or too short and show your midriff. And as the weather gets warmer with the shorts, if I can see your pockets hanging below your shorts, then your shorts are too short. And the reason that we have this in place is so that everybody can feel safe and comfortable in their workplace and at school. So sometimes other students feel uncomfortable and come and talk to me about something someone's wearing, or sometimes a teacher will come and talk to me. So it's really just thinking in the morning when you go out about making sure that you're dressed appropriately for school. We also have 5 fire drills left, and to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what that is going to look like, but we'll certainly be looking at that more in the coming weeks so that you just know that between now and the end of June, we have to do 5 fire drills. Hopefully it'll stop snowing by then. And then Miss Bennett, I know as they're hopping down there in student services, but I'm going to turn the floor over to her.
Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday afternoon. So yeah, we've been busy down in student services. So I just wanted to talk about a couple different things: academic stress, personal stress, things that are upcoming for university. I know that's right around the corner for a lot of you grade 12s. So I'm going to start with academic stress. And this is, you guys are in the very, very last stretch of high school, which is fantastic. and difficult and stressful for some. I know motivation has been a really, really hard hurdle to tackle for a lot of students this year. And all I can say about that really is one step in front of the other and just keep going. You might need to slow down every once in a while. You might need to take more breaks than usual, but keep going. Don't stop. Work with momentum. You do have an end line in sight. And for some of you, that might mean a new start line going to post-secondary. For some of you, it might mean a new job. But motivation now will help you tackle those next hurdles as well. So what we are suggesting is to create a schedule and follow that schedule every day. So not having school in the same way every day makes that a little bit more difficult, but having a general wake up time at the same time, a general bedtime every night. So every other night you're not going to bed at like 4 in the morning. I know that has become sort of an epidemic with a lot of students this year, is just having a really inconsistent bedtime, which makes it more hard on your body to tackle those at school days or to have the motivation to do work on the non-school days. So making a schedule and sticking with it. And maybe on some of those days where you don't have a class that you're checking into, you do the attendance, but then you have work to do at home. Or maybe you don't have homework for that day, reading over your notes so that every day at 1 o'clock is your English class. Just something that tells your body that this is what I need to be doing right at this time. When you're feeling overwhelmed with so many things to do, making a realistic to-do list. So I don't suggest more than 5 things. 3 to 5 things is perfect. And then making sure that you're checking them off. It seems like an extra task that you might need to do, but there's actually like a bit of a dopamine hit. It's a positive and excitement when you get to cross things off the list. So making sure you're doing that as well. If you have big assignments, maybe it's a project that you're working on, maybe it's a test that you're studying for, break those into small manageable tasks as well, and then setting a time limit for yourself. So not sitting down at your desk and studying for 2 hours, because after half an hour, your body and your brain get really tired and they start becoming unfocused, and then the work that you've put into studying is lesser than. So setting a timer for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, taking a small break, and then coming back to it. If it's something that's harder, if you're working on a subject that is not your favorite, potentially every 20 to 30 minutes switching in a different subject so that you're using your brain in a different way. So you might be working on an essay for 20 minutes, pause, take a small break, then work on math for another 20 minutes and go back and forth just so that you're reactivating your brain. Always ask for help, ask for clarification. If you're stuck on the starting point, I know this year with that motivation being so difficult, that starting point has been really, really hard for a lot of students. So making sure that you're checking in with your teachers, we're checking in here at Student Services to get that, get the assignment off the ground. And we're happy to partner with your teachers, we're happy to partner with you. Just don't do it on the day that the assignment is due. That's a hard sell. Come in a few days before, looking at your calendar, knowing you have multiple things due, let us know, and then we can help have that conversation to move some deadlines or ask for some extra help that way. If you have test anxiety, which again has been a little bit higher this year with students, please come down to Student Services so that we can chat with you about that and look for strategies that work for you. Everybody experiences that in a little bit of a different way, so that's why I'd like to meet personally and just find out what's going on and how you tackle things already. For personal stress, it's kind of the same stuff. This has been such a crazy year, full of disappointment when things get canceled, frustrations when our schedules keep switching back and forth to every other day, to online, to at home, to then switching semesters, and it has been a very hard year for teachers and students. So number one, be kind to yourself. Don't go into this year expecting you to perform the same way that you did last year or 2 years ago. There's a lot weighing on you right now. So do be kind to yourself and be kind to others as well. especially on pink shirt day. Healthy habits. As teens, it is not uncommon to need 8 to 12 hours of sleep. So if your parents are saying, hey, get out of bed, you've been sleeping for 10 hours, that's normal and your body needs that. So making sure that you are getting the right amount of sleep. If you're getting 5 or 6 hours of sleep per night, you're not getting enough. Make sure you're eating well, healthy snacks. Obviously, there's going to be times where there's some binging and some treats and everything like that, but overall making sure that you're keeping your body healthy, because that's going to help again with that motivation and keeping you on track and schedule. Schedule in tech-free time. I know everything is online this year. All of your meetings are online, your school is online, courses or like dance classes and different clubs that you've been part of have been online. So we've been attached to the computer so much more, but do make time because it wears your brain down. So take time to turn off your devices and use that time to connect with your friends, with your family, with your pets, go for walks in nature, things like that. And then just finding healthy ways to relax. Part of the stress is challenging negative thoughts, and that is a really hard thing to do because we tend to gravitate to negative. All of our brains do that for some reason. You can have the best day possible and somebody just kind of side glances you, and that's what sticks in your head for the rest of the day. So really challenging yourself to say what is factual and what is emotional. Emotional is very rarely a true reflection of what the incident is. So really challenging yourself on that. Watch out for things like should statements, mind reading, fortune telling. That's things like I know what that person's thinking about me without really checking with that person, or I should be doing better in this class, or all or nothing thinking, where like everybody around me is doing so much better, or nobody looks like this. Or so really challenging yourself to not be letting yourself go down those rabbit holes. Don't compare yourself to others. Everybody's in their own personal battle this year, every year, but this year in particular. And please, please, please ask for help when things are piling up, when you feel like you are off your regular baseline, when you notice that you are more irritable or something has changed. And it doesn't have to necessarily be to guidance. It could be student services in general. It could be to your teachers. It could be to admin. It could be to a parent. It could be to a friend or a coach. But please do check in, and just always looking to add new strategies to your toolbox for coping. Next is career exploration. Now you guys, you squeaked in the very last in-person, you got to go to the open houses last February. And I hope that you did take advantage of that. The career symposium, I think, had been canceled at that point already. And we have had a lot of different virtual opportunities this year, which are great, but also I realize may be easier to miss out on as well, or to log in and not get the full information. So in terms of career exploration, this site is really, really fabulous. And I know I've gone through it with a couple of the grade 12s who had Miss Wake last semester. But logging on to Zello World, your username is capital SJA dash your 9-digit student number and then your IT password. As long as you complete one of the Matchmaker quizzes, it's going to start to build an interest inventory for you. So this isn't an aptitude test. It is based on your interests. So how you answer the questions matters. And if you change your answers will switch within where the tiles slide themselves. But each career has a profile built into it. So there's a job description. It tells you what kind of education you need for that job. It tells you what your salary is going to be here in Manitoba or in other provinces if you're not planning on living in Manitoba in the future. It's a 5-point scale. So the questions are going to give you something like working with children or working outdoors in all conditions. And you have to rate it from 5 being dislike very much to 1 being like very much. And there's about 5 quizzes that you can complete. So the more quizzes you complete, the more specific it's going to become for you. So I do highly, highly suggest if you're graduating this year and you're not 100% sure where you're headed next year, or you're taking time off, this is a great activity to do to look into some future possibilities for yourself. And then post-secondary information. So Red River, if you're looking at Red River, they have ongoing sessions, information sessions about their program, and their registration, or sorry, their applications are always ongoing as well. So it's on a first come, first served basis for the majority of their programs. If you go onto the link that I have posted here, you can click onto the program specific dates, and for whatever program you're looking for, they will have an information session in the future. U of W, so everybody who has applied to U of M or U of W, this is the time to really be checking your junk mail and really making sure that anything from admissions or from different faculties within those universities are in your on your safe file, not in your junk mail. You're going to be getting information about next step virtual sessions. So how to pick your courses, how to make a schedule for yourself, what's required out of the diploma that you're going into. And U of M as well will be having these next steps. U of M's is it's a video that you have to run through, and then you have a practice session. U of W's you're going to have to register for, and it is actually a Zoom presentation that you'll be in with one of the advisors for. So just making sure that you're checking your junk mail often. Once we hit May, that's when offers are going to start to be coming out for scholarships and official acceptance as well. So really just checking your email frequently for that. And if you're interested in other schools like CMU or Brandon or MITT, please come and see me, and I have information about those as well.
Thank you, Ms. Bennett. All right, so your online phys ed, all of the modules should be done now, and your activity hours are due at the end of May. So I know that the plan was to have people who were not done their modules to come in on Friday, which is an in-service day, but the superintendent has said that that we can't have kids in the building that day. So unfortunately for us, I guess, perhaps fortunately for you, I don't know. But if you were scheduled to come in on Friday, you don't need to, but you still need to be done your modules and your activity hours. And of course, being in grade 12, this is a big deal. That's why we've been pushing to get you done because May and June do get very busy with other things related to graduating. And we want to make sure that phys ed is completed and off the table. Okay, other important dates. So next week are the grad photos. They will be in the gym this year. Half of the gym will be separated off because they need an increased amount of room for the photos. Make sure that you book your time online and pay your sitting fee. Your sitting fee will pay for your gown rental and the hat and, or sorry, the cap and the actual sitting fee from the Life Touch company. There will not be any retakes. So you have to look mint on the day that you come in for your scheduled appointment. The only way that you could possibly have a retake is if you book a session at the Life Touch studio. And they have told me that they're going to be really busy because typically they go out to the universities, but this year they can't. So there will be university students coming to get their grad pictures as well. Report cards are coming out on the 23rd, so make sure that you have all of your assignments completed for tomorrow so that those assignments can be marked and put into the report card that is coming out on the 23rd. Your volunteer hours for your St. James diploma are due on June 1st. And it's a minimum of 20 hours. So typically it's 40 hours, but because of COVID this year, it has been reduced to 20 hours. If you do not have any volunteer hours, you will still get your regular Manitoba diploma. You just won't get the St. James one. And then a couple of dates that are different from previous years. June 18th, all of your assignments must be submitted. So that's, a few weeks into June instead of more towards the end. So June 18th, make sure that you put that in your phones, that you have all of your assignments submitted by then, because June 21st is the last day of classes. Then again, because of COVID, we will be doing our in-school convocation ceremony, and that will be on June 24th. So you'll hear more information about that forthcoming, but just to give you an idea of what it looks like, last year when we did it, you were allowed to have up to 8 guests. So I assume it'll probably be around that again. And you will have a time that you're scheduled to come on the 24th with your guests. And you'll have your cap and gown. You'll be able to cross the stage in the theater, and there's different photo ops. We also try to get the grad gowns a few days early so that you can actually take them home and go out and get photos done wherever you would like. So if you want to go to Assiniboine Park or to the Legislative Building or take pictures with friends or whatnot, then we'll have your gown for you a few days before the actual convocation. And of course, if you have any questions, you can come to the office and ask. Miss Walterson, definitely a good source of information. Miss Olfson, and more information will be forthcoming on that. So the last piece really is this video called Who Are You Going to Be? And Miss Bennett was kind enough to submit that. So if you will take a moment to view this. Okay, so thank you to Miss Bennett for that. And just a reminder that we're warriors, right? We're Westwood Warriors, and we have grit and we have tenacity. And sometimes when it gets tough, we do have to really dig deep and work hard, but you can do it. The end is in sight, and we're all here to help you do the best you possibly can. So take care and have a good afternoon.